So I just got out of the F1 movie, and here is my thoughts on the film. The good, the bad, and the whatever. Now this is going to be a non-spoiler review. Don't worry, I will try my best to do a spoiler review within the year, or when the film comes out in streaming. But for all those who are wondering, for the good part
this
of
is
this
a
non-spoiler review, the music. The music by Hans Zimmer is really good. It makes you feel like you're in Formula 1. Speaking of the music, they had like a bunch of old songs here, like We Will Rock You by Queen, and lots of other old songs. I don't know what the songs are, but those are really, really cool. The second good part about this movie is the character dynamic. I mean, you literally see the differences between both drivers, Sonny Hayes and Joshua Pierce. Now, I can't really give you any plot details because this is a non-spoiler review, but from what I've seen in the film, it's really interesting how both drivers operate. Now, Sonny's like the old guy and like Joshua's the new guy. Like, they have their differences, but eventually they do, well, again, it's a non-spoiler review, so I can't really tell you why they do that, but for the character dynamics, it's a really good one, and it's so interesting to see. The third good part about this film is the music. I don't know you all, but Hans Zimmer did a really good job when it comes to composing the music. I mean, the music feels intense, very fitting, and sometimes represents the characters. Like, dude, I feel like if we get a sequel, I think Zimmer would be a really good fit for this. Now to the part of the story. The story is really interesting when it comes to the overall development of the characters, although there's a little bit of a weird part in the story. The story itself is good, although the fast-paced editing kind of ruins it for me. Overall, the story is really solid. It's a really interesting story from beginning to end. Now, this is a non-spoiler review, so I can't really say certain plot details. The next part is both the CGI. The CGI is really good. Dude, it feels like it's almost filmed practically. And I love the perspective scenes when it comes to one scene in particular where I'm not gonna say what happens. Like there's like this very weird vision sequence, and the driver is like having trouble. But I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna save that. Now I'm not gonna say what it is, but I will save it for the spoilers review once I rewatch the film, maybe 2 or 3 times. But otherwise, the CGI, the cars driving, that looks good. Now, we're gonna start off when things get really to the weird section. This is what I call personal nitpicks of mine. The pop songs in the film are a mixed bag. Some of them I really, really liked. Others were and most of them for me were okay. I don't know you all, but most modern movie soundtracks are just very, very weird. Like, most of the pop songs in them are just not the best. The lyrics is just a little bit meaningless, and they're just there for the sake of being there. Now, it's not to say I hate pop artists, it's just that the music and the tone of this film does not really fit them well. Like, some of the music in them that they introduced in the album is a little bit weird. Like, don't get me wrong, the pop songs, I like listening to pop artists, but the album of this film is a little bit of a mixed bag, for me, at least. The album is okay at best, but I feel like they should have at least lessened the amount of pop songs in the film. Like, why can't we just get the actual music from Hans Zimmer instead? And that ends my first nitpick. Now on to my second nitpick. The second nitpick in mind is the pacing. The pacing of this film is a little bit too fast. Actually, too fast in some scenes. Well, there are some scenes in the film where I feel like they should have given more time to delve into the exposition of the characters. Like this plane flying above. This isn't really a spoiler because it was already shown in the trailers. But there's like this plane with a bunch of colors, and then it just cuts right away to the next scene, with all of them preparing to race. Now I get the fact this is a 2-hour film, but the transitions are really, really quick. Like, not saying that transitions are not are bad or anything. It's just that the quick pace transitions kind of ruins the scene exposition. Like in certain scenes, they just cut and then they continue to the next scene. Like, dude, isn't that really annoying for you? Yeah, it was really annoying for me. Like I really noticed that when I was watching in the theater. There's also one scene in the film, which is the opening part of the film, where character A ends up crashing. Now, the crash references Ayrton Senna and a bunch of other drivers. Now, what are my thoughts on the scene? Well, the scene itself is just weird, because they don't really show how the character ended up in a situation like this. They just say, okay, he crashed. The film has a little bit of those scenes where some things just happen because the plot wants it to happen. Like, again, it's a 2-hour film, but for this much of a runtime, couldn't you at least do some improvements? Overall thoughts. Now, for my overall thoughts, it's a good film with good CGI, good music, a really interesting story, but it has a little bit of a pacing problem. Some of the scenes just feel off, and some of the jokes, specifically for my age, don't really relate to me. Dude, like some of the jokes in the film are not really that funny to me, at least. So my overall rating of the F1 movie for me is, drumroll, is, it's an 8.2 out of 10. So overall for this film, I give it an 8.2 out of 10. The film itself has a lot of really good qualities, but at the same time, due to the pacing, some of the story choices, and some of the over-exaggerated jokes, and this film doesn't really land as much as for me. Despite its flaws, I feel like this film is a really enjoyable one. It's a really different film from the types of movies I used to watch. And I think this film might be the best. Despite its flaws, this film is just great. Like, it's a great film. I think you should give it a watch.